very ambitious and also very passionate about philanthropy. So I'm humbled and honored for the opportunity to introduce Meverly and her work to you today. So who is Meverly J. Benjamin? First of all, she is an entrepreneur and corporate governance consultant, a cutting-edge expert in money laundering prevention, a PhD candidate in banking, finance, and law from Wolverhampton University in London. She is a financial crime expert, privy to the backdoors of the world's largest banks, companies, and even government agencies. She is the author of My Dream, Chaos of Brexit, System versus Creator. She is the CEO of a consultancy firm, a philanthropist, advocate for financial literacy, and a ferocious defender of human rights and sovereignties. She is also the founder of FIT Resort Foundation, which you will also hear more about today. A contributor to dozens of publications, including Yahoo, Associated Press, International Business Times, and more. She, in my opinion, is the true master of the art of overcoming adversity in her personal and professional life, and a beacon of hope for underprivileged youth, but also for anyone who faces challenges of gender, race, and other forms of bias. So please welcome Meverly J. Benjamin.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we want to apologize for the lateness. We are expecting more people, but due to some hiccups, they are not in yet. But first and foremost, I want to express my gratitude for making time for me today and being part of publishing this book, The System versus the Creator. It means the world to me. I'm going to do a short storytelling about the book, and I'm going to read a short passage about the book so that you have more feeling about what the book contains and what it is about. So the reason for today is that I'm launching my third book, that is The System versus the Creator. The book is for anyone whose heart has sunk at the sight of a whiteboard, who believes workshops should be more than making things, who just suspects that there might be a better way to run our world. The System versus the Creator. It's a powerful literary work that connects with the Dutch mindset, despite their generally liberal and secular society. The fascinating story dissects the delicate dance between regulated systems and individuals' inventiveness, mirroring the Dutch prosperity for balancing tradition and innovation. This book also stimulates ideas on social conventions and the human spirit's search for self-expressions as tulips grow in well-ordered rows here in the Netherlands. It tackles the universal struggle for autonomy within established boundaries with elegant prose and evocative imaginary. It's a timeless theme here in the Netherlands, where a rich heritage coexists with lively, ever-changing cultural landscape. That is the system versus the creator, in short. There are different topics I discuss in this book. It goes from the routine and mundane. That's the start of the book. So the book seems to talk of our daily grind, feeling stuck about things. The book asks us to think about what life really means and our part in a complicated system and how the system will be able to work for us. Many can relate to this. The big ideas matter everywhere, not just here in the Netherlands, but in a full world of distractions and routines we are living in. Authentic craftsmanship, the mention of workshops and sanctuaries of authentic craftsmanship might connect with the Dutch tradition of craftsmanship and the appreciation of high-quality workmanship in this country. Also, we will discuss in this book human impact on the environment, which is a hot topic in our nowadays. The book talks about our world facing possible collapse, which refers to worries about our environment. It discusses the Earth in its risky situation and how we humans might be the cause of all. This connects with today's urgent concerns about climate change, and taking care of our environment in the Netherlands with its low-lying land. They're especially worried about things like rising seas due to the climate change. And the next topic we will also be discussing is the technical advancement and consequences. It is great that we have these technical advancements in our society, artificial intelligence, name one of them. The book talks about the technology that having two sides. It is really relevant today because technology has brought us lots of good things, but also tricky things like our privacy. What do we do about that? It's a question and some answers the book is also talking about. Self-imposed constraints. The book delves into how people often ensnare themselves in self-imposed captivity, which is psychological and existential issue that transcends borders. The narrative's reflection on self-imposed limitations and distractions is relevant in society where many people grapple with issues as mental health, work-life balance, and finding purpose amidst the pressure of life stress and boredoms. Collective wisdom and enlightenment. The book draws upon the wisdom of luminaries and human experiences, suggesting a search for enlightenment. The Netherlands has a rich history of intellectual contributions, and the book also entails how we can use this intellectuality for the rest of the world. So, how did I came from the system versus the creator all the way from my previous book to the system versus the creator? So it started with my dream. It's an autobiographical book about myself, how my early times, how I started life. But I felt like I had more in me, and I wanted to write more. And it started with the systems falling apart in this country in that time where I was studying. That was in the United Kingdom. And I called that book The Chaos of Brexit, The Majority Carries the Vote, where the majority chose to leave the European Union with all consequences that they have at this moment. I started working when you leave school, most of the times you start working for a boss, but at that point in life, I also started that I feel like I'm more than just the 9-to-5 person. I have the entrepreneurship in me, which led to 4 companies of mine. Mevlia J. Benjamin consultancy firm is my main job, where I give advice to banks and businesses all around the Netherlands and Belgium. Fit Resort Foundation, that's a company that is registered in Ireland where we do foundational works through West Africa and also here in the Netherlands. And then we have the limited company where we give entrepreneurship advice of being an entrepreneur in the healthcare system. And the latest company is Makash Money Transfer, which was opened last month and is going to be operating in the coming next 7 months. And it is going to be a money transfer business where you can send money all over the world. This is in short Mevlia J. Benjamin. And once again, thank you for being here.
So, do any of you have questions about the contents of the book itself until now? Yes.
Who is the target group? Because it's quite complicated, so you must have a specific target group in mind.
Yes, that's true. The target group is from the generation we are now facing, that's the Gen Zs, and also the millennials. But when you read through the book, it's also for people who just want to be enlightened and have new knowledge. So I didn't really target it targeting to a setting group because I wanted to reach all mankind.
All right. So can you please tell us, Meverly, how did System versus Creator got its title? Because it's a very catchy one, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So the System versus the Creator got its title by We are living in a system, yes. And I had the feeling like, are we now working for the system, or is the system supposed to be working for us? So there was questions that I was asking myself through research of my PhD. And that's how actually the system versus the creator came out, because I believe that we are created by a creator. And based upon that, the system's supposed to be working for us, but I have the feeling it's the other way around.
And what is the one idea or message that you hope the readers will carry with them?
What I really hope is that it's going to enlighten the readers, and to see that, you know, we can turn things around. It is mainly meant for policymakers to focus upon, are we doing the right thing for the civilians in the country, or are we just making things harder for the civilians? For instance, the inflation we are now carrying our weight with.
Mm-hmm. And could you share a moment from your personal life that directly influenced a key theme in the book?
I think what really influenced me is the fact that I was also a 9-to-5 person before I became an entrepreneur. I had a feeling that I was like captive in the work-related place, and I thought of, I think I can do more than what I'm supposed to do now, and I can be meaningful to the world. And that is the moment I thought, no, I should bring something out that, you know, people who relate with me can be able to know that they are not alone.
Mm-hmm. And how did you develop your distinctive voice, and how did it evolve throughout your writing career?
I think my distinctive voice really came from being able to relate with other humans, with other people around me, knowing where they come from. And I think it also has to do with my entrepreneurial job, the consultancy, whereby you see lots of people, you speak to lots of people because you're an advisory board as well. And I think relating to people has actually created it.
So many authors have rituals. I'm really curious to know, and I'm sure that all of you are as well, what are any unexpected rituals that you followed while writing this book?
Well, through my writing process, I do have a ritual. I have some people I talk to, and specifically one, there's a counselor, Mr. Kumi, based in the States. And he's like my advisory board when I'm writing. You know, we have deep conversations, a very enlightened person. And every time when I'm about to write a book or I'm stuck in something, then I relate to him and he gives me insight in different perspectives. So yeah, that's my ritual.
Your book also explores complex and challenging topics, such as, for example, the loss of freedom and captivity. So how did you manage to keep it engaging and captivating while talking about those difficult subjects?
I think it's also because my own background, I have a feeling of what is really going on. And I relate to people that are going through the same problems that are in the country, like lack of housing accommodation or rising prices. So because I've been there, it is easier for me to relate.
And I'm also curious to learn about people that influenced you in your writing process, maybe other authors or other influential people. Who are they?
Yeah, there's just one author, Harmonious, is also a very good author, a Dutch author, and he wrote a book about the new heaven, whereby it's very provoking, you know, he makes you think about life aspects in different ways. And I love to be provoked, I love to be challenged, and that, you know, my intellect will just broaden up. So I'm not a shadow-minded person because I need the intellect to grow as a human being. And I think such books really help me.
Also, let's face it, we are living in the world that's very fast-paced and digital these days. So what role do you believe traditional literature and storytelling play in connecting people and communities?
I think traditional storytelling relating to communities that we have social media, which is really helpful. But I also found social media an opposite side because not everything out there you should believe. It's goals having this camera on you and making a video, a live video. Where did you find the moment to put out this whole story? So we tend to forget that, social media, it is censored, and you always need to know when a certain information is being crossed aside, what does the person wants to achieve. So that's where I found social media very good thing whereby you can share your thoughts and it really goes fast. But on the other side, because it goes that fast, you can't really tailor like, is it right or not? It forms your opinion in a way you don't want, actually.
Yeah. And in a world that's assuming there are people in the audience who are also aspiring authors, what would be your advice to them?
It's a journey. It's a long journey. And what you tend not to forget, it is not about you being famous or the next best writer in the world, but it is you telling a story and that it will be read by the right people. So people tend to ask, why do you keep on writing? It's just that I think I have an intellectual thing that I want to transfer to another person. So that's the reason I keep writing. But if you're an aspiring new author and you think, yeah, I'm going to make lots of book sales, then that is the reason I'm writing. You're on the wrong end.
Okay, so do we have any more questions from the audience? Okay, then I have some bonus questions for you, Maverly. I'm very curious to learn about your writing process. What was that like?
The writing process, it was quite hectic because the book talks about different topics, and what I was trying to do, or what I did, is that putting all these topics together, but making it have some kind of cohesion that it can stick together, it works together, because I was talking about a lot of things, and then I don't want to have the feeling that the reader is lost middle in my storytelling. So that was the quite challenging thing when I was writing the book. And I need to say, this book took me very long in comparison with the chaos of Brexit and my dream, and yet it is very short.
Yeah. You are a barrister and a writer. So how do those two worlds coexist?
Well, as a barrister, you need to be able to write properly. And because before you do or take any case on from a client, you need to write down what a story is. So you always create stories when it comes to doing your legal jobs, whether it is financial law or just the legal corporate law. You always write. So I had it in me, but I didn't know that I had it in me to write stories. That's something that developed with my dream.
So what's next on the horizon, by the way?
It's a series that I'm creating. So it's a series of 6 books. And I am writing one of my last, The Appropriate Time, where I talk about when is it the right time to do something. And when it is time, it is time. It is quite deep when somebody says when it is time, it's time. But you know, sometimes you can go through things in life, situations in life, whereby you do not know when to stop or when you will get out of that kind of situation. And I am talking about when it is time. It is time. You will know when you will know that, you know, it is the end of that trial.
It sounds like a very intuitive process because, you know, we're used to being in a world where things are pushed on you and you want things instantly and
Yes.
things like that. So I think it's very, very relevant for today. And how did you know how this book was going to turn out when you started writing it?
No, absolutely not. Even when publishing it, lots of things were edited and things were, I thought, yeah, this is relevant to the book. But, you know, when there are 3 or 4 different editors watching over here and you're like, okay, so it's not relevant anymore. So you actually don't know how a book really would turn out. You have an idea in your mind, but how it would really turn out or how it would be, it is something that you will keep on questioning until it's done.
Yes. And how did you discover your passion for writing?
I discovered my passion through my dream. That's the first book, where I was writing actually mixed feelings down and gathering all that together and putting it in one book. That's really where the passion, because I felt like I was being heard by writing. So that's what I kept doing until one day when a person told me that, you know, this is going to be a very good book. It's like, a book? What are you talking about? So yeah, that is basically how the love for writing starting.
And yeah, so the very last question I have is system versus creator is about how systems don't work for certain people. So can you give us a bit more context and more examples how you see the systems not working for certain people?
Let's stay close to home. In Den Hague here, we have a crisis, a home crisis. So when you're done with your university degree and you think you're going to go to work, you're going to earn around 2,500 euros netto, something in that region. To get a normal studio apartment now in Den Hague costs around 1,100 euros. It is not possible for you to rent. And that has created a crisis whereby you have a job, but you're homeless because you will leave your student accommodation because you have an agreement that when you are done with your university degree, you will leave the accommodation, and that needs to happen. So at that point, you become homeless or living in between or living in a room whereby you think you deserve the space and the privacy. So that's where you see that the system is not serving those groups of people anymore. And even some people who have been working for a lifetime, they have a certain amount of income. They can't even afford a normal rental house. And the funny part is that buying a house at this moment of time is much cheaper than renting. But even before you can buy a house, the requirements and the income they want to see, you can't even get one. And even if you get one, it will be somebody else will come with a better deal and the house is off the table. So that is something that is frequently going on or in my circle of group of people.
And do you see any possible solutions to that? Or maybe some ideas on how to solve this?
I do have an idea, but it is not just, I can't just say it out loud that is what needs to happen. It is a change of policy. It needs to change frequently and very fast as well. A change of law and also how the banking system looks about getting the financing done. So it is different aspects that come together before we can get a new law in place that will benefit those also part of our system. So it's a lot of things that will come because it has to do with the regulation in our banking system. It has to do with the corporate regulation, social law. All those aspects will need to come together to get it done. And we can say that, okay, we will give individuals a contract to build more housing, but how many people are actually looking for a house, and how many houses are there being built with the cost of materials nowadays? So it's a lot of things. It's not just that, okay, this is the advice and it is done. No, you need to write it all out. And then based on that, you take a conclusion how to do it. But I think that the policymakers at this moment, they need to do it faster, act faster to the problem.
And do you have any specific ideas on how we can accomplish that? How can we make this faster? Is it about AI or maybe something else?
Well, I don't really trust AI that much. It's still a system, and it has a mind on its own, so it will continue. And I don't think that we have formed it to the way we really want it to work for us. There are so many loopholes in it still. So I think that we need to calm down a bit on the AI aspect. But when it comes to getting the solution done, it is by making it affordable. And how do you make things affordable? Is making a lot of things available. So at this moment, there is a lack of housing. So that means it's very expensive. Make it available, more available by building as contractors, government contractors, not individuals, government contractors as in the past, and building it not only here in the Randstad, in the hubs, city hubs of our country, but also in the outskirts. Then yeah, you need to travel, but then at least you have accommodation.
Okay. So Thea had the question.
Yes, because the houses are not that expensive only because they're limited, but also because a very small group of people are getting extremely rich on it. So what we call this beautiful word in Dutch, the huisjesmelk.
Yes.
And I think you're familiar with it. And so I was wondering, are you more the intellectual who is observing and writing about it? Or are you also the side of the people who are fighting against it? Are you also an activist in the public debate? Can I find you in a demonstration?
You won't find me in a demonstration. No, unfortunately, you won't find me in a demonstration. The reason why I don't find it effective enough, it is the policymakers who will make the law and it make it relevant to us. So I would rather be at the policymakers and be an activist there and create new laws that are effective and immediately effective to us as civilians of the country. Screaming out loud or blocking the road, it's not me. I'm the intellectual person, and I will fight in between the chambers and make my voice heard there.
Because your voice is very important because you also have the financial background, which is pretty rare. And I think there's a high need of people who can analyze the wrongdoing of big
The system.
developers and
Yeah.
the system, to analyze it and indeed to have a debate with them. And I think it's great that you have the boardroom, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because you need, that's also activism. It's on a different
On a level, yes.
That's what we're striving for.
Yes. So that is really what I'm striving for, that, you know, that I will be part of an advisory boardroom to be able to give effective advice that will contribute something to our nation, and that we will be an example for other nations around the world. That is really the aim of the whole Merville J. Benjamin consultancy firm, giving effective advice that will benefit the people. And, you know, giving advice is not, as I said before, it's different aspects. So when you hit one corner of an advisory, you can include social law, the benefit law. All the things can come together so that it will have a role in all the aspects that we have to do with here in the country. So let's see where it goes to, and then hopefully I will be effective enough.
system? I'm wondering.
Yes, the book is also an advisory book. It also gives advice how you can be able to adapt. And we use world inspirational leaders to give, who have already spoken before, but might be forgotten. I've written all of them down, most of them down in that book so that you will use that advice to move on in that system working for you. And how you can go around it. Make a good living.
I have an extra one for concerning your journey. To be honest, I'm very much inspired, and you have a very beautiful story and beautiful journey. Big ups. I would say, for example, apart from a young writer, for example, if you are to advise a young writer, apart from the fact that they should not concentrate so much on the sales, what would you say has been that one thing, that most important thing that has driven you through your 3 books now? What has been that thing that has driven you up till this point? That one thing, apart from not looking at the sales point of view, what would you say has been the most important ingredient or tool that has propelled you to get this far?
That is inspiration and faith. I believe that I want to inspire people. And I want to inspire people in a way that they can change their life if they are stuck in a certain situation. So in all my books, I keep on telling you about being stuck and how to get out of it. Because I was stuck. I was stuck in a devastating time in life that I thought there was no way out. And the only way out was by killing myself, you know. So at a point that you don't know where to go, I believe that my books needs to be a voice of inspiration, and that you need to have faith that you can come out. There is a way out. You know, I'm a true living example of that. So that is really my aim in every book that I write down.
If I might add, I also thought, because I know your work so closely, Meverly, I also felt like with your example and your story, you almost show us, hey, if there is no system existing for your kind of solution that you're looking for, you have to go and create one.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you did, I feel.
That's true, yeah. Create something if it is not there.
Yes, yes, please.
Talking about being stuck, in the synopsis of the book, you state that you hope that the words in the book will not only resonate, but also liberate and empower readers to break free from shackles of self-imposed captivity. How did being liberated from self-imposed captivity look like for you?
Self-imposed captivity, that was the moment where I thought, you know, okay, I'm earning a certain amount a month, which was below 2,000 euros as a starter in the market. Just came from the university. I wanted to have a house, a studio house, but I'm a single mom. And if you want to have a studio house and you are a single mom, you cannot have a house. It's supposed to be for one person. But I'm not entitled to have a 2-bedroom house because I earned that bliss. So what am I going to do to be there to get what I want? I created my own system. Then I'm going to start for myself. I'm going to take that bold step to get out of that kind of captivity that I have imposed myself on me. Because why did I blame myself actually for it? I'm not blaming any government. I believe that during your student times are the times that you can live the life you want to live and still have enough income to survive. And you can do so many jobs and you have so much freedom to do so. And they give you so much benefits in the Netherlands to do so. So I believe that I was so stuck up in a system that, oh, I will get the benefit here, benefit there. So, you know, this kind of whole benefit system created me to be a bit reluctant. And when you're more liberal and the system is more liberal, it is expected to you to do more. And that's what I needed to do. I needed to do more for myself to get out of it.
So Daniel had a question.
How you make the book?
How did I make the book? I created the book by having a publisher called Scribe. And they had amazing people there. Had its ups and downs, but we got through that. And that's how actually we make the book together and make it as a whole.
But your mom did most of the writing herself. Probably while you were asleep or at school.
Okay, I'm also curious to know, in an attempt to break free from the shackles of the system, what are some of the obvious challenges that one should expect? Being an example, being a replica of what you're talking about, I can imagine that maybe you already have a bit of one or two examples of some challenges that would surely come in, a person's life when the person wants to strive towards this liberation. Can you maybe highlight one or two of them for us?
Yeah. So when you want to break free of a certain system or certain routine, there are always obstacles in front of us, which are sometimes laws, bureaucracy. And going around that, you're like, okay, but I want to become an entrepreneur, so I have all the documentations, and then I want to go to the bank to open this business or get a bank account. And then the bank will tell you, anti-money laundering, what are you going to do with the money? Who is going to pay you? I'm like, well, I don't have any clients yet. I just started. That is one of the bureaucracies we are also facing. I am in the banking system. I can talk about it because I'm doing a PhD in financial law and combating money laundering. But this has become an obstacle that you want to break free. You have opened an Amon Sack and sole entrepreneur company, but you can't get a bank account. Or you are going to have an online bank account as bank, whereby you can't have somebody physically seeing you, or like Revolut. But if you want to go to the ING, Rabobank, ABN AMRO, they won't give it to you at this moment. They'll say, we are full, we have too many things going on, or you are in a queue of 6 months. But you need to operate now. So those are things that, one of the obstacles that you will go about. But then at that moment, I will tell you that just open the bank account with bank, and then 6 months later, go there, and then make sure that your bookkeeping is in order so that you can have that bank with ING. Why do you want a bank with ING? If you need a mortgage, bank does not offer that at this moment, but ING does. So then after that, you can always transfer your bookkeeping to the ING bank. So sometimes it's not beating the system, but going around it just to get what you want and what you deserve.
Any more questions, comments?
Please, being a mother, a wife, and a writer, what is your biggest challenge that you have ever come across?
That will be time management. We just have 24 hours to do everything, and sometimes I want so much. And then I need to slow down, and that is the hardest thing for me, slowing down. Especially when you come from a place whereby you feel like the system pressed you down and you came out of it and now you want to thrive, and then 24 hours the next day. So, and what makes it also very hard is the weekends, when businesses do not operate, trying to contact somebody to get things done. So I will say it's time management and patience. Yeah, those are the two things.
Yes, of course.
Last week I was at the General Assembly in New York, the SEG Summit, and one of the undersecretaries generals was saying, well, the entire system in the world, all the laws, the entire system in the world, on the global level, are created for man, but he can change that.
Yeah.
And that is very much needed, because the position of women really needs to change, because otherwise we never can overcome poverty in the world.
Yeah.
So it's a very important role, and your question is very important. Thank you for that.
Yes. Great.
So, if there are no further questions or comments, then I think we'll wrap it up.
Yes.
So thank you all for taking the time and for coming today. If there's any of you in the audience who is involved in the media, such as, you have your own podcast, your own show, anything you do publicly, please use the opportunity to speak to Meverly and book an interview with her to help spread the word about this book. It will mean the world to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our heartfelt gratitude for coming here. Sorry for starting late. And also want to thank the editors who also helped me in my journey, Caroline Hague and Michael Nadine, for the amazing cover. Family and friends, my backbone. And also in this journey, I want to thank also the people who are about to read the book. Just spread the news and hope to help other people in a system where they might not be able to strive enough as they should be. For those interested, copies are available at Amazon. You can scan me. Not me, but scan me. I hope it finds a special place in your heart and your bookshelves. In conclusion today, making a beginning of a collective journey toward a brighter, more adaptable future. I invite each of you to explore the pages of System versus the Creator and embark in your own part of transformation and growth. Thank you for being here. Thank you.